Hello, my darling, and welcome to today's story time. If you like what you hear, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Today we are reading Virus by Phee. It's part of his collection of stories in Invisible Dead Person and Other Weird Tales. And now, on with our story time. A virus. You know it is inevitable. Everyone knows that eventually this world will end. It is part of nature, she said with some confidence. Panicking is never a good idea. For all we know, it could be just that. A natural process. What I have seen, he reasoned, there is nothing natural about the losses to some of the outer cities. He was deadly serious. She scoffed. It is normal for some of our people to die. It's a struggle, after all, for everyone. There was a pause. In our history, lots of places and people were lost, just struggling against the nature of the world. It was not until we had several cities established, with some stability, that our people began to thrive and grow. He knew, though, that things were changing. It had been so warm all over the world in the histories, up until very recently, were now simply becoming mild. He remembered the stories of things from far above entering the world and bringing death to his kind, and returning the world to a wilderness that he had only known about in the histories. She, sensing his apprehensiveness, attempted again to reassure him. We continue to grow. New cities are being conquered, and they are producing beautiful and healthy children every day. You are worrying over nothing but rumors and fictions, I promise you. He did not respond, but simply remained silent. He knew two things at that moment. One was that he would not change her perception on such things, and two, that if he could not convince her and the rest of his people that something needed to be done, their civilization would indeed be lost. Some time passed. The rumors turned into terrifying stories and accounts. The two of them met again. This time, the mood of the discussion had become more somber. She tried to speak of hope, but it was clear that hers was fading. We still can't confirm that any of this is happening. Her tone was calm. These are just stories. We don't know what is really happening. It might be, she paused, choosing her words carefully. It is probably nothing. You know that's not true, he said, showing impatience. Our cities are becoming silent. No one comes from those cities anymore. He continued with certainty. They are becoming cold and dead places. No more children are being born, and the city's walls are blackened. They say the walls are trapping us inside, dead places where nothing escapes. If that is true, she said cautiously, then we simply need to capture new lands and make new cities. It's a logical way to react to this. This is not the simple end times. There is something more. It is like this world wants us dead. Don't say that, she cut him off. He ignored her. We know that even our existence here would eventually destroy the world. But this is not eventually. This is right now. And it is not happening in a way that is natural. You are being too alarmist. For all we know, this could be just another group of colonists from a different area. We may not have had issues with them in the past, but maybe there is an issue with how we are reacting to them. Maybe. It was clear that he had come to the conclusion that she was not going to understand because she did not want to. She, sensing his defeated attempt, still continued once more. Look, even if what you are saying is all accurate, and this is really happening, why are you talking to me? Do you have any idea how to stop it? Or are you just here to cause anxiety among all of us? There was a long pause as he considered his answer. No, we cannot stop it. I am almost certain of that. The communication stopped for a few moments, with neither of them speaking. But I have heard there might be a way to save a few of us by escaping this place. More time had passed. This time when they spoke, there was no question of uncertainty with either participant. I'm doing research right now, but we are running out of time, he began. Some of the cities close to us have actually fallen. I know, she snapped with anger. There are crazy things being whispered that we are being punished by the world, that we were killing God just by existing, and that God is taking steps to destroy us so it can continue to live forever. Punished, he repeated. I am not sure if that's the case, but our survival is being threatened by the world. Our resources are drying up or being washed away. Do you think it's true? She came across as vulnerable for the first time he had ever seen. That we are murdering our world, that we are murdering God. I don't think it matters, he answered. What would we have done differently? Not had children? Not had our civilization and just disappeared into nothing? No. He answered his own rhetorical question before she could. We cannot feel guilty just for living. She tried to regain her composure. Do we know anything else about? She either could not find the word or did not want to speak it, so she chose to be vague. It? Yes, but I am not sure it'll help anyone. Sadness was apparent as he continued. The force that is killing our people is not of this world. It is something alien, something artificial. She remained silent, so he continued. I don't know how, but it is like this world accepted something from above, causing this. So it is true the world wants to punish us, she said, matter-of-factly. He dismissed the emotional response. Again, I don't think it's about punishment or vengeance. Maybe it's just survival. I can say it really does not matter why at this point, only that it is. He thought for a few moments. What is causing this does not even appear to be alive in and of itself. It's like it's something completely unknown. You said before there might be a chance for some of us to escape. What did you mean? Escape to where? I'm sorry. I honestly don't know. I wish I knew what to tell you. A sense of wonder came over him. But the legends say there is a tunnel above, and we will escape with wind and water. But to where, I cannot say. Above, she said in disbelief. Is this not where this death has come from in the first place? Why would we want to go there? Yes, above. The irony is not lost on me that the very thing we might be using to get away is the same tunnel our end came from. in the beginning. It would be the last time the two of them spoke. As the reports had suggested, the city walls had become impassable. What once was a birthplace of countless numbers of them had turned into a prison of starvation and waste. The alien forces had surrounded and cut off all of the city dwellers with an unknown means in recent time. "I guess it is too late," she said to him. "Yes," he agreed simply. "Our civilization, our people, all of us, are now as good as dead." He thought about the rotted city they were in. "I have heard, in the last days before we were stricken, the wilderness has come back to the city. It's almost as if we never were at all." He suddenly became more animated. "But no, we may be as good as dead, but I believe our message spread to others before this. Some of our children may have gotten out." She did not answer quickly. "I'm not sure. I'm past false hope and fictions about any of us surviving, let alone escaping into some tunnel. Our end came from outside our world," he reasoned, "which means there is somewhere other than our world. We might not ever know for sure, but I'm going to choose to believe some of us ascended into that tunnel and escaped into the light. I cannot accept that this thing has simply ended with nothing more after." "I wish I could share your feelings on this," she said. "We all have seen the dead in our walls, the children, the rot." He had sympathy, but said nothing more about it at that moment. Instead, he almost appeared to be speaking to nowhere, more entranced by the certainty of their end. Some of the last reports we received from the dead cities spoke of creatures entering the city walls after we are all long dead and devouring our remains. They said they were creatures from the wilds, white-colored, monstrous things from our legends, some of them the size of cities themselves. Our ancients had defeated them in the distant past, but now they have come to consume all we built. Did you know that there are even myths that our people came from the tunnel above? That we ourselves are alien to where we have lived all this time? He then became peaceful. "Perhaps it is better this way, without our memory polluting these lands anymore, washed away into the world where, for all we know, they never wanted us in the first place." Some of the children floated in a vast and unknown place. The world they left behind had no idea that some time ago, even before the civilization-ending events had destroyed everything they knew, they had indeed found the tunnel in the sky. They had been there only briefly before a mighty current from above had expelled them at unfathomable speeds into this void of light. The children had slept in stillness for a small time after coming to a place to rest. They were unable to perceive the universe around them for an indeterminate amount of time before they awoke once again. They found themselves not alone, but around one another, alive and awake again. The world had echoes of the location they had once thought of as home. They were once again in a vast wilderness, and they were able to detect close by the vast beasts of legend hunting for them, but not yet finding them. They quickly found a barrier, but nothing strong enough to keep them out. They entered the area behind the barrier and found a place of plenty. There were resources and safety here if they acted quickly. They began using what they found around them and built up fortifications in time to fight off several of the aggressive beasts of this land. They began to have children, turning their sanctuary into a great city. Over a short amount of time, their children became brave and ventured out into the world, creating more cities and more people. They now had the numbers to keep the beasts of the wild at bay and colonize more and more. The mysterious tales of how they found themselves to be in this godly land that had provided them so much to thrive and flourish faded into myth and legend. Tales of a strange tunnel in the sky. Tales about how, if they lived and thrived long enough, they would see the end of all things, hopefully in a long and natural way, where they were allowed to live a full existence and continue to spread. There were also, somewhere buried deep beneath the lore, tales of a mysterious and unknown force that may also come from the tunnel of light and end them before their time. Most of them dismissed these tales as superstition and stories to frighten the children, but they hoped they would never find out for sure. And this, my darling, ends our story time for today. As always, I hope that you have very sweet and creepy dreams. Good night.